Yankees Files podcast. We are back for the first time in 2025 with this cast, at least. I'm Will Harris, you're Alec Whipple, you're Steve Rector, and the rest of you are fans of a team whose demise has been greatly exaggerated as they remain projected to lead the American League in Fangraphs WAR. That team is, of course, the New York Yankees. Whipple, Steve, it's great to have you back on this fifth season of Yankees Files. It's a big year in that Juan Soto's not here and we're still alive, and I'm just trying to be positive. We've got a lot to get to, including probably the best game that's ever been played on this podcast. I'll call it. But before that, how are you guys doing? Whipple, you first.
Is that like when former Vice President Biden, but he said General Motors or Osama bin Laden's dead and General Motors is alive? It's like Juan Soto is dead, Yankees Files.
It's probably very similar to that. It's incredible recall on that quote, by the way.
I like former Vice President Joe Biden.
He said that as Vice President.
He did,
right?
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's just funny, yeah.
Not to get political, I feel like we can be angry enough in the baseball sphere.
Yeah, I think so.
Without bleeding over. But yeah, I mean, things are good. I've been chugging away my last law school semester. I did some fun things down in New Orleans, which I will save for a special show and tell segment at the end. But they are baseball related things, so that was cool. And yeah, I'm just sitting around doing work, looking out the window, and obviously just waiting for spring to come, as one does.
It's Rogers Hornsby style. Steve, how are you?
Yeah, I'm definitely following the Rogers Hornsby style of winter, as I always do, just counting down the days. It's been quiet. This is the worst time. This is like my least favorite time of year in general. There's just nothing happening baseball-wise. The weather sucks. I'm a big outdoors guy. This just sucks. If it's not snowing, the cold's brutal. So really just putting my head down and trying to get through it until baseball starts, but without any news or anything either. It's just like a grind. You don't even really want to talk about baseball at a certain point. So this will be fun.
We got some mid-Atlantic snow. This is we've had some snowstorms.
Yeah, we had a big one. We had a pretty big one. We haven't gotten one in a couple good years there, so it was good. My dogs liked it.
I haven't seen snowfall since I moved to Virginia, and definitely I was in 2.5 years they hadn't had snow.
We had a huge one. Maybe you're too south. You're Williamsburg, right?
Well, yeah, I'm too south on the coast.
Okay.
But I was amused to get a day and a half off of school for 1 inch of snow, which
there you go.
made my inner northeasterner chuckle.
Nice. Yeah, we got 8 or 9 inches up here. That's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
A mere few hours after I met Austin Wells at the national championship game, my flight was delayed many hours for a dusting of snow in Atlanta. And I find it very funny how there are just parts of the country where the agreement is, if there's any snow at all, we're just shutting down.
Yeah.
And I get it, but feels like it might happen a little bit too frequently for that to be just like how we operate. Anyway, meeting Austin Wells was cool. Nice guy, Notre Dame fan. So you got to love that about him. Yeah, that's about what I have to say. We were both disappointed that Notre Dame lost, but it is what it is.
Sorry,
he had a full beard.
They all do.
Yeah.
All the Yankees do. It's like they just go. They have their out of school time. It's summer. They go get beards, and they all have fun. Then they got to go back to class and they got to shave it.
It really is like that. It's so funny. So that raises a question. Gleyber Torres tends to rock the offseason beard. Clay Holmes has been known to rock the offseason beard, and I think was bearded with Pittsburgh, at least for a time.
Yeah, he was.
Do we think they're going to be bearded this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, they've been waiting. Especially Gleyber has wanted it for so long.
He has.
You know it. Yeah.
He has a beard right up until spring training starts.
Yeah.
I think for him. I always wonder how Andy Pettitte got away with what he got away with.
Just a lot of scruff.
Yeah.
He was right up at the line.
Yeah,
Andy
CeCe did the same thing as well.
Yeah. You guys got to win a World Series. You win a
Yep,
World
there you
Series,
go.
You get 1 inch every World Series ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've devised a game. And I told you guys this earlier today, but I did not tell you what the game was. I told Steve before we started, but I've been assured he's not cheating.
No.
The game is American World War I soldier or 1915 New York Yankee. Because, people talk about how, baseball players had these names that were so identifiable as baseball players at that time. And I question if that's really the case. So this game is how we're going to find out. Your options will be World War I soldier or 1915 Yankee per the name of the game. We'll switch off who guesses first. Please keep track of your own score. We don't have the scoreboard technology here.
Don't have the score bug.
There are 15 questions.
We could flip 15 coins.
Yep, that would be another way to do this. Your first individual in question, Henry Allen.
Yankee.
Who's going first? Oh, okay.
Steve's going first, I guess.
But we both answer, right?
Yeah, you both guess.
Yeah. So Yankee. I'll say Yankee.
I'm going to say soldier.
Whipple? He was a soldier. Henry Allen was a cavalry officer in the United States Army. He was also an Olympic equestrian competitor. He did
That's
not
what
medal.
I remembered him from. Oh, shit. I knew it was something.
Oh, that's awesome. Your next individual in question, and this person's first name is a military title. I am not naming a military title that he may or may not have had. That's what his name is.
Trick fucking question. Okay.
Ensign Cottrell.
Sounds like a Yankee.
Yeah, Yankee. I'll go Yankee again.
Yes, that is a Yankee. Despite his naval officer ass first name, he was a Yankee with 7 relief appearances and an 89 ERA plus in 21 1/3 innings in 1915.
Nice.
Luther Cook.
World War One.
I'm going to go... I was going to say World War One.
You're both wrong. Luther Cook, nicknamed Doc, had his best pro year with the 1915 Yankees. He was a right fielder. In 1914, he led the league in getting caught stealing. He stole 26 bases successfully, and he was caught 32 times.
He was so close to making it work.
He was right there.
Twitter would have loved him.
Twitter would have loved Doc
That's
Cook.
hilarious. Who kept sending that, man?
Yeah, people were mad at who was it? Luis Rojas is the third base coach for the Yankees currently. Like, whoever was letting that guy run, we gotta talk to him.
Got a classic Luther Cook over here.
Estieri Ruiz or Luther Cook. Patty Flint.
Jeez. World War One.
I'm going to say World War One.
You're correct. He was a colonel in the United States Army. He also served in World War II and was actually killed in World War II.
R.I.P.
Another bellicose name here, Jack Warhop. That's what bellicose means, right?
Sure.
Okay.
No, I think you're right.
Having to do with war? Let's go with that.
The bell prefix.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Yankee.
Yeah, I'll say Yankee also. I don't remember
Jack
what the name was.
Warhop?
Yeah, Yankee. Yeah, sounds good.
Whipple, what's your guess?
He said Yankee.
Yankee.
Oh, yeah. So that was a Yankee.
All right.
He led the league, he was a pitcher. He led the league in most home runs allowed that year. How many home runs do you think he allowed?
He led the league in most allowed?
Yeah, he had the most home runs allowed.
No, that's too low.
No,
Okay.
it might not be. Like, yeah, I'll say 11.
11, Whipple?
9.
7.
Oh,
Oh, stuck with 5.
yeah.
7 home runs allowed.
No one hit home runs back then.
Exactly. Number 6, Arlie Pond.
That sounds like a Yankee.
Sounds like a soldier.
All right.
I kind of also thought it sounded like a Yankee, but it was a Soldier.
Oh, let's
He
go. I'm
was,
crushing it.
but Steve, here's where your confusion might have come from.
Yes.
He was a doctor in the Army, sure.
Okay, yeah.
But he pitched for the Orioles from 1895 to 1898. So he was
right.
an old-timey baseball
All right,
player.
there we go.
He put up 4.3 baseball reference WAR in 1897.
Nice.
How many
for him.
war did he put up?
Probably at least one.
Please.
War.
Wait, how many battles?
Oh
above
my God.
was he worth?
Think of all the people who
War.
think of all the people whose replacements did not have to fight because of Dr. Arlie
Right.
Pond. Like it's a real
And
health is a skill type deal.
Begs the question: are team trainers underpaid? Should we be focusing on getting the best trainers possible?
Hey, maybe.
Learn a lot of
Cressy
lessons
Sports
from this game.
Performance. Pond Sports Performance. Number 7 is Gene Layden.
Yankee.
But the last guy was a Soldier. I'm gonna say Soldier.
You're both right. He was a center fielder and
Let's
pinch
go.
runner who got 7
Let's
at-bats for the
go.
1915 Yankees. His
Love it.
baseball reference bullpen bio also lists him as a World War I veteran.
Nice.
Respect.
You love to see it.
I don't know
Elmer
what the score
Miller,
is.
number
I think
8.
I'm up by 2.
You're up
I'm
by 2. Yeah. You're definitely winning. Yeah. Elmer
Number 8
Miller.
is Elmer Miller.
I think I should just keep guessing Yankee because at this point, I don't know. Yankee.
I'm gonna say Yankee.
Elmer Miller was indeed a Yankee, a prolifically bad one. He amassed negative 1.1 wins above replacement in a mere 25 games.
Didn't you say I would know one of these people? You said I would recognize one of them.
Oh, that guy's not on the list.
Oh, okay. All right. So it really was coin flip.
They're,
Like a
they're-
big FU, Steve.
Yeah. You said
It's
you'd be
actually not
surprised.
old.
You might know some of them.
No,
You
no,
told
no,
me
no.
this.
So there are 2 people on the list who you do know, first of all.
Okay.
But the guy I had in mind when we were discussing that was Bob Shockey, who pitched
Oh,
for the
okay. I actually
1915
do know that
Yankees,
name.
who's
Yeah,
a guy
yeah.
that you know. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So Elmer Miller was number 8, horrifically bad. Number 9, Eddie Grant.
That's a Yankee. I think that name sounds familiar. I could be totally wrong.
I'm gonna say Soldier.
Eddie Grant, the singer of Electric Avenue, which is the song featured in Pineapple Express, was a World War I soldier. He was an
Nice.
Army captain who was killed on the Western Front. He was also an infielder for the Cleveland Napoleons, Cincinnati Reds, Philadelphia Phillies, and New York Giants. So another baseball playing World War I veteran who was, of course, not a Yankee.
It's funny the baseball ones still have that. They have the name. There's a certain name if you played baseball. It's just,
There you
it
go.
sounds different.
Henry Allen just wasn't. He never saw it.
No.
Everyone
Yeah.
else.
Here's a name you'll know. Branch Rickey.
Did he play baseball for? I know Branch Rickey, but I don't know. Did he play for the Yankees though in 1950? I have no idea. I know his role in the color barrier stuff, but
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I think he was.
I'll say
just-
soldier. Yeah, we'll say soldier.
You're both right. He was a major in the Army Chemical Warfare Service, but he was also a 1907 New York Yankee, Highlander at the time, I
Oh,
believe.
New York Highlander. Okay.
So he did play in the New York Yankees for the team that became the New York Yankees, but not in 1915.
the only one I knew was not a Yankee. It's funny.
Pi Schwert,
Jeez.
not to be confused with Pi Trainer.
Yankee.
I mean, I have a pretty good lead at this point. I'll say Yankee.
Pi Schwert was both. He played 12 games for the Yankees between 1914 and 1915, then joined the Navy and played on a baseball team in the Navy with that fellow 1915 New York Yankee, Bob Shockey.
Nice.
We're up to number 12, and that is Jack Thayer.
Soldier.
Soldier. Sure.
Soldier and Titanic survivor, Jack Thayer.
Oh.
Interesting. Didn't sound baseball-y enough.
Number
Yeah.
13 is Andrew Shelton.
Also doesn't sound super baseball-y. I'll go Soldier.
Who was the baseball player? Shelton, Chris Shelton.
You
That
should go
sounds
Yankee just
familiar.
to maybe even the odds a little bit.
I'd sound Soldier. You said the thing about it sounding baseball.
All right, fine. Whipple doesn't want to have a good game. He just wants to win.
Yeah, I do want to win.
What's your guess, Whipple?
Soldier.
And Steve, you said the same?
I did.
Well, you're both wrong. Maybe if I had told you he also went by the name Skeeter Shelton, you'd have gotten that is
100%.
indeed
I
a
would've said
baseball
Yankee.
player. He was a center fielder who had 1 hit in 40 at-bats over 10 games in 1915. That accounts for the entirety of his Major League Baseball career.
Okay.
His Saber bio notes that he actually had another hit in an exhibition game that the Yankees played in like the middle of August coming back from a road trip, but not an official game. Number 14, our penultimate individual, is Cleveland Deer.
Old timey or base. I'm gonna go Yankee.
I'll say Soldier.
Yeah, that's a soldier. He was a first lieutenant in the United States Army and a 2-term congressperson from Louisiana from 1933 to 1937.
My coin flip skills suck.
And our last either soldier or baseball player or both was Charles Vance.
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
That's it.
Hope that reference was gotten. I'll say Yankee.
I'll say Soldier.
It is a Yankee.
Hey.
And Steve, do you know who Charles Vance is?
No.
Charles Vance is Hall of Famer Dazzy Vance,
Oh, I know Dazzy Vance.
who pitched 8 games for the Yankees as a rookie after
nice.
debuting with the Pirates in the same year. He would go on, of course, to win an MVP for the Dodgers 9 years later and be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Did not know his name was Charles.
I found out today.
It's not Dazzy? His parents didn't name him Dazzy?
Shockingly, if you can believe it, his parents did not name him Dazzy. Well, Whipple, congratulations. That was an incredible performance by you, as we all expected. Do you have any words you want to say? Any acknowledgement you want to give to your opponent? Any plaudits for your intrepid host who invented this game? Whatever you might want to say.
Thank you, the fans.
Oh, that's good, and you will be suspended for PEDs.
Did I tell you guys I went to the game right before he was suspended in San Francisco? The one game I went to, they had the
that's
milkmaids.
amazing.
Yeah, it was like it was Giants Nationals. They had the milkmaids out. It was, I mean, he was like beloved there for what he was doing. And then the next morning we woke up, my uncle's like, oh, he got suspended. Like it was in the paper. And
Whoops.
just got scrubbed from, like, we drove by, his banner was down.
Oh no.
So funny.
Wow.
Poor Melky.
That's so sad.
Oh, you shouldn't make fake steroid websites or whatever the heck he was, or whatever he did to
True.
mask that. That was one of the funniest ways to get out of that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was an era of great ways to get out of positive steroid tests. Let's not forget
yeah.
the Ryan Braun,
The collector.
Oh my
the sample
gosh.
collector was an anti-Semite allegation.
The fact that he did that and then still got caught later, I mean,
It's
like that's
really
one of the most
tough.
unforgivable things. Man.
Really,
Like,
really tough.
yeah, that's a brutal one.
Yeah, not good. So I don't know how you segue from that, but I solicited questions for this podcast because it's kind of been a slow news cycle. Of course, there are signings for us to discuss that the Yankees have made, and we will discuss them. But I solicited questions for this podcast, and Bobby Osborne, close personal friend of mine, sent one in, and I really like the question that he sent in, and I think it's worth discussing. So after the Kirby Yates move was announced, Kirby Yates going to the Dodgers for 1 year, Bobby tweeted at Yankees Files and asked, are the Dodgers acting purely from the standpoint of an investment fund pursuing financial returns? It seems unlikely that adding Yates to a super team increases their win projections and World Series probabilities enough to cover $26 million, accounting for the luxury tax, from either revenue or franchise value. And I am inclined to agree with Bobby. I don't think that the Kirby Yates move pays off in franchise value or in revenue. And I can't imagine that adding, call it one WAR, does very much for the number of games you win or the likelihood that you win the World Series. I saw a tweet from someone else that said, someone had kind of posited the same thing, that like, this can't be very impactful for the Dodgers. And someone said, well, their internal models must disagree. And I don't know if I buy that. I guess where I'm coming down on this currently, and I'd love to be convinced otherwise or hear other perspectives, is the Dodgers clearly believe, the Dodgers ownership group, the private equity Dodgers clearly believe that you should build the absolute best possible team, and you should at every turn seek to limit downside as much as possible. I think that's something the Yankees pretty notably don't do. And it's something that the Dodgers are doing in a way that is fundamentally different from everyone else in Major League Baseball. And I guess it's possible that the Dodgers believe that with a sufficient willingness to spend, depth is the new market inefficiency. And if you just pay to have great depth, then no matter who you lose within reason, and no matter how many guys you lose within reason, you'll always have a quality player to plug into that spot. And while it may not boost your win projection, it severely narrows the error bars. And I think that's where I'm coming down. And I think they see, winning the World Series or going really far in the playoffs or winning a ton of games as super valuable. And they think that just stocking up on this quality depth increases the likelihood of that. Still, though, I can't tell myself the story where $26 million for Kirby Yates makes sense, even in service of such a thesis. But I feel like that has to be the kind of operating principle, what they're working toward. I just can't make it financially make sense. As much as I believe that their whole thing is about capturing the increased franchise value from being good. I can't, the numbers don't still work to me, but where do you guys stand?
I mean, do you want to go, Whipple, or?
No, you go.
No, I mean, I think this question is interesting, and I pointed out on Twitter that I wanted to talk about this, not because I had any specific even opinion on it. I just think it's a fascinating question, not just in terms of how we talk about the Dodgers, but in how it reflects back on how the Yankees operate. That's the first thing my brain went to, where they're operating more from a strict kind of cost-benefit analysis, and this doesn't increase our championship odds enough to spend that money on it, right? So we're not going to do it. And I can't get away from the thought that the Yankees, in terms of their market growth, how much more can the Yankees really grow, right? I mean, is there a future to a greater size of the Yankees market, really? Or have they more or less peaked in what they can be? It's just about keeping where they're at, right? Whereas maybe the Dodgers are still an emerging market with growing, Shohei Ohtani, Japanese markets, international stuff coming in. They're one of the quickest growing teams in sports. And I think the pressure for them, or the necessity from them from a market standpoint, to keep winning at all costs, because their growth is so, exponential, it means more to them than it does to the Yankees. So you're talking about, saving that bottom line, reducing downside. They see that as an absolute must at all costs, because a losing season and any kind of downward trend would hurt their market significantly more maybe than the Yankees would, who have a more established certain brand. And it's just, the way they view it is interesting. I don't think the Yankees have the incentive as much to do what they're doing, because there isn't the value to get out of it, I don't think, from spending on one reliever. Will that help them enough? Does it really matter? We're going to go to the playoffs anyway. Who cares? Right?
Yeah.
I just don't see it, but I wanted to hear what you guys really said about it more than anything, because I don't know how I really feel about that.
I think you're right to note that, like, the private equity playbook. So I think, first of all, there are a number of different private equity playbooks, but one of them is find an asset that's growing and juice it up with funding so that it grows and grows and grows, and that the valuation grows faster still, and then capture all that enterprise value growth when you sell it. And I think that is what your point about any downward trend, any contraction, any regression being super bad for the Dodgers. I think the ownership group is to some extent acting with that in mind. Like, this is, if you think of the Dodgers as a portfolio company, like, they damn well better be growing, because they're going to have to get sold, and these guys are going to have to capture those returns. And otherwise the people who invested are going to be pissed. Like, you know, it's like any other, you know, just growing company that is private equity owned out in the real world.
They need to capitalize on it like right now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is their, I mean, they are like the premier team right now, and they could lose that if they go downhill again. Right? I mean, they need to secure that image, that marketplace as being the premier team. And if you do that for a decade or longer, then now you just are. Now it's self-sustaining.
Yeah.
You are the Dodgers.
Yeah,
right?
and I think
they
you
need
nailed it. That the Yankees are the Yankees, and there's not much more like becoming the Yankees available for them to do. Every market that they're in, they've kind of like saturated, they've tapped out. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point. Whipple, where do you stand?
I mean, I guess what I want to know is, like, it's not like Guggenheim just bought the Dodgers. Like, they've owned them for quite a while. And so I'm just like, I'm trying to piece together why all of a sudden, you know, is the answer just Ohtani changed everything?
The answer
Or
might be Japan.
Honestly, it very could be that simple. Yeah, it very well could be.
Then that, I mean, the Dodgers did not operate like this. And I feel like we're kind of forgetting that. Like, for the better part of their player development is definitely, definitely top of the league, but the amount of homegrown guys they have now is pretty minimal. But in the old days, like, they used to feel pretty largely homegrown teams. So yeah, I guess, I mean, I agree with you guys. I just think if the answer really is like Japan changes everything, then I guess that makes sense. But it's definitely a very sudden shift in like how they build the team. And I think that's what's surprising me more than anything. More like, it's not that I'm like surprised the Dodgers are signing contracts. It's that their market playbook has never been to throw money at every single problem. And I point to, really I don't think Yankees fans should be, I mean, we can be upset, sure, because it's Yankees and we're always going to be upset. But really, the Mets fans are the ones should be upset, because my question is, why aren't the Mets doing exactly this? I mean, if Steve Cohen is the billionaire and he wants to run it like a business, these private equity principles, it's a pretty poor way to capitalize on investment when, like, reasonably, I feel like getting Juan Soto is kind of the same, maybe not in terms of capturing the market, but in terms of like expanding your fan base. You're never going to have a greater opportunity than signing Soto. And what have they really done around that? That's who I think should be asking more questions. I think you're right. The Yankees are baked in as the Yankees, and they're going to be firm. They're not going to get pushed around by pressure from, the market or other teams. And whatever you think about their offseason, I think we can all agree they've definitely been very disciplined and not going crazy with big contracts to fix their problems because they're worried people are not going to buy tickets. And yeah, maybe that sucks, like, for some people, but in the long run, running the business, I think that's the smarter move. But again, the Mets should be capitalizing. I think the Mets should answer those questions.
How mad should we be at the Yankees?
How much incentive, and I know this gets talked about all the time, but how much incentive do they really have? And I don't think it's zero, but to go the extra mile in terms, I mean, the amount of money that it takes to take that extra step to give you those smaller percentage chances of winning a World Series. Like, what is the incentive there? And should we be mad about them for not pushing for it? I mean, I want them to spend more money, right? I would love for them to, but does it make sense for them to? I mean, should we expect them to do something that doesn't make any business sense at all? And
that's kind of my question.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the like finish the job during the season approach is kind of wearing thin. I don't have an issue with the players that they signed, and I don't have an issue with, okay, we're going to, use Jason Dominguez here. We're going to do that. And people are like, how could you not play him in center? I think all that stuff's fine, but just this, having an open position basically on a yearly basis now because you maxed out your budget is a little tough. And I don't know if that comes from, we didn't plan this out correctly. The guys we wanted weren't there. Whatever it is, that's the only thing I would say is like, just finish the job. And I think people would be okay a little bit, maybe not entirely satisfied, but that's the big thing that I really, I'll join the chorus on that. Like, I don't understand how this trade deadline focus is really becoming a yearly thing when you're the New York Yankees.
In their perspective, they have DJ LeMahieu, Oswald Peraza, who's going to be out of options, and I mean, like, seriously, they have money, they have money and resources, young players that they have developed that are now on the line right here, right now, at that position.
But I'll say, like,
I'm not defending it, but
the getting Trent Grisham, come back to our favorite player, Trent Grisham. I think getting someone like Grisham, or in 2023, getting Rodon, like, I've been more happy about that. I know you agree with that, Will. It's like when you get the depth for the area that doesn't even need it, when you are just going above and beyond to make sure you have the backup options, you're not leaving anything unfinished. I think that stuff pays off. I mean, maybe, like last year, I think Grisham was important. Maybe he wasn't used the correct way, but even if he could have played better, could have played worse, but just having a guy like a competent depth piece, I mean, that's what the Dodgers do pretty much everywhere. And I don't know if the Yankees should be held to that standard, but at least like filling out a top line of players, I think that's very fair to be upset about.
I have two thoughts to follow up on that. The first is about the Dodgers. I know we talk about them like they're a super team, and in many respects they are. Still, in their current starting lineup, they have Max Muncy, who's coming off a season in which he played 73 games. Michael Conforto, who,
that was a weird one,
like, has, aside from, I guess he's played 125 and 130 games each of the last 2 years. He was below average in 23, slightly above average in 24. Can't really play defense anymore and missed the entire 2022 season. He's in the starting lineup. Has a reputation for not really being able to stay healthy. Ha-Seong Kim, Ha-Seong Kim, who's, of course, never played a Major League Baseball game and is projected to be like a one-win guy. And Tommy Edman, who maybe the Dodgers figured something out with Tommy Edman, but in his last 2 years combined has 3.2 WAR and a 93 WRC plus. So, like, is it possible that the Yankees don't have any position that's as solid, or is it possible that the Yankees' least certain position is still more uncertain than Tommy Edman or Ha-Seong Kim or whatever? Sure. But it's like, I think people kind of work themselves into a lather about how the Dodgers have plugged every hole. Their bench is Austin Barnes, Miguel Rojas, Chris Taylor, and Andy Pages. Like, none of those guys are good. Maybe Austin Barnes is kind of fine, but like none of those guys are good. The pitching's obviously phenomenal, but
it's the pitching. It's the pitching.
Yeah. I think people have kind of worked themselves into this like worked up state about how the Dodgers are so complete when really, like, if you kind of look critically at their roster, there are certainly positions that are less than certain. Like, why shouldn't they have Willy Adames? Put Mookie Betts at second base. Like that, you could certainly say that about them, but you're not allowed to say Gleyber Torres. What move that has been made are you angriest at the Yankees for not making? Because if you could say Gleyber, I think we would all say Gleyber. So
angry, right? Not just upset that it didn't happen, but angry.
Like what move?
Because like we talked about
what move that happens, what move that happened would have made the most sense for the Yankees to make, and that is why it bothers you that they didn't.
I mean, Willy Adames doesn't fit because it wasn't fair at the time. They were still waiting on Juan Soto, right? So I can't really blame them on that.
Yep.
No, I mean, honestly, the marketplace kind of sucked, right?
The
I mean,
only one is Kim, right?
Yeah, Ha-Seong Kim, or they could have traded for Gavin Lux or something,
I guess.
I thought that now that we are where we are, I think the Gavin Lux trade would have looked a little better in retrospect. I think that would have been nice. At the time, I thought there could have still been other options. But I'm not mad about Jorge Polanco. I'm really not. Some people were just getting worked up for that. I'm not even really mad about Ha-Seong Kim. I like him a lot, but he's got the shoulder thing. He won't be in until May. You never know what's going to happen with that. The bat was never like the surest part of his game anyway. So, I mean, we're talking about a glove first guy. I don't know. I'm mad about the one you said I can't say.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the one I am too. But like, I think the reason I asked that question, Whipple, unless you have another answer, is it's kind of, I was thinking about that, and it's kind of put into perspective for me that I don't know that there's all that much this offseason that I really think the Yankees should have done.
Are you saying like moves that they could have made and they chose not to? Because I feel like the Kyle
within
Tucker
the
situation,
set of moves that have happened.
the Kyle Tucker situation wasn't going to happen, but if it could have happened, I mean, we don't 100% know.
It seems pretty clear that the Astros were not sending Kyle Tucker to the Yankees under any circumstances.
Yes. There was an interview with Cashman where he more or less he basically confirmed it by not saying anything about it. He more or less just said, "Yeah, I won't say anything more about that." But like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of guys out there. That's still, I'm not at this point. I'm not sitting here and saying, well, the Yankees screwed up by not getting a third baseman or second. There's a lot of guys still out there. So
the Gary Sanchez trade was on like March 15th, right?
The top third baseman free agent still out there, fellas.
Oh no! What would the price have to be?
I would do a 2-year deal with whatever the hell he wanted. Easy. I don't care. He would benefit the team.
Sure.
I don't like. I don't think he fits well in Yankee Stadium. I don't think that's a long-term deal they should have any part of. But if he would do some crazy 2-year deal with like an opt-out, like whatever.
Do you think there's any chance of that? I don't think so.
No. I think he might get like a 4 or 5 something.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way it goes under 4.
But if it did, hell yeah. Bring that guy in.
Sure.
He would make the team so much better. And not so much better, but a good bit better. But terrible long-term investment. Terrible.
Yeah, I still hold out hope that Brandon Lau might get traded.
I think the Rays are kind of looking to contend a little bit next year. I don't think they want to move their only offensive piece.
They just always trade their higher end guys. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
Well, there's no risk that they have to pay him, right? Like he's quite cheap.
On a
super cheap extension.
Yeah, he's on a team friendly extension, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they would trade him for somebody that would be, what's the Rays thing? Get some quadruple A kind of guys or one good prospect right really close to the major league level. Someone like something like that. I don't know if the Yankees even have that player that they would want.
Like if Will Warren had been good last year.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, wait, here's my question. If it's nothing, like you're literally entering with the guys you have, or it's an extremely paid down Arenado, what would you do? Like
nothing.
I'm talking 330.
Nothing.
Like Bregman's one thing, Arenado's a whole other thing. I don't think I want anything to do with.
Like I'm quite convinced that Nolan Arenado's never going to be good at baseball offensively again.
I think if the idiot just went to Houston like he had the opportunity to, he could have salvaged a couple years of his career hitting into the Crawford boxes. He's such a stupid person.
He is
for declining that trade.
That was very dumb. But like,
I don't know what he was thinking.
In your age 33 season, your xWOBA starts with a 2, and over the last 2 seasons, you have a 104 WRC plus. Like the world, it's over for you. Like that's it.
Okay, then what about Arias? Because those are the two I feel like we keep hearing.
I kind of forget about that. I don't think they're going to trade him, right? I guess the Padres are trying to save money, right? So I guess they might.
I don't know what's going on over there.
No, it's a mess over there. I have no idea.
So here's where I stand on Luis Arias, who, independent of anything about his offensive profile, last year he had a 109 WRC plus, which is perfectly fine, probably better than the Yankees will get from third base this year. In fact, it would be like an unqualified success for the Yankees to do that well.
Oh, DJ with a 109 WRC plus would be amazing.
He had -6 outs above average at first base, -7 at second base, hasn't played third base since he played 40 innings there in 2022. Like, there's no avenue for him to play anything but second or third. And anyone who thought Gleyber Torres was a bad defender would have no idea what's coming with Luis Arraez. Like he probably is the worst full-time defensive player in Major League Baseball today. Like maybe Castellanos, but like you could not be worse. And they would have no choice but to put him at third base all the time, even though he's a DH. Like I cannot be convinced that the Yankees would see a fit there because there's not one. And if he plays his entire season at third base, he's worth -20 outs above average or -25 because you can never play him. You can never play him at DH. Even if he has a 115 WRC plus, he's like a 1-win player, if that. That's horrid. Like the Yankees are going to get a win or more out of third base. I'm confident in that.
They pickled themselves, man.
No, here's my thing with Arenado where I will push back then. To me, it's like if you extremely pay it down, if you can get rid of Stroman, he's going to be a good defender.
Well, you can't get rid of Stroman. You can't get rid of Stroman and get money off the deal.
No,
okay,
that have to be
in
two
some way,
separate.
shape, or form, the money is coming off. Like if it's getting rid of Stroman and paying it up, taking on more. I just think for what's out there right now, if you want to win this year, at least the guy has a chance of being a league average bat and is a really good defender.
How many years you still pay it? I mean, even if you get it paid down.
Yeah, but are we really gonna for this year only? I don't know. I'm just like not really concerned about 2 years from now. At this point, like 2 years from now is gonna suck.
But this is like this is why we are where we are with DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're basically
how many
signing
DJs
2023 DJ LeMahieu now.
How many DJs LeMahieu do we want to have on this team?
I mean, I just think like in 2 years, are we really going to care? Because DJ is going to be gone in 2 years. So it's just like another year of a DJ type player.
They desperately want out of that, though.
I think Arenado is going to be... Arenado is just a more talented hitter than DJ. Like, I know he's not going to be Nolan Arenado, but he's coming from a higher ceiling.
I
And the
mean,
defense is
actually,
very, very good.
even terrible DJ last year, I'm not looking it up. I'm pretty sure he had a higher XWOBA than Nolan Arenado did last year.
That can't
Even
be true.
I'm not even kidding. I think it's true.
I'll check
Okay,
it right now.
If that's
DJ's
true,
batted ball data was
It is
not,
true.
It is
that
true.
really true?
There you go. Yeah.
How-
DJ's
how
was
much?
299, Arenado's was 296.
Like, I mean,
Damn.
just DJ got a little weirdly unlucky last year on top of being terrible, but
I
still,
think there is some bounce back for him, but
there
it
is.
is
Yeah,
bleak. The
but
fact that I'm trying to make this argument is kind of bleak.
it's
The argument for Arenado is entirely about defense.
defense.
Which is-
it's
yeah, and I think
playing
that's
into the
valuable.
narratives, though. Man.
Yeah.
It's not valuable, but they're over stressing the narrative of this right now. Listen to that Hal Steinbrenner interview where he just uttered defense without any provocation. Like nobody even said anything, and he just kept talking about defense
Hearing
over
that-
and over and over again.
Hearing that makes me think he's going to be a Yankee.
I don't think so.
How many times does it have to be reported that the Yankees aren't interested in him for you to believe it?
I don't know.
Like, how many times does Jack Curry have to say Nolan Arenado's not going to be a Yankee for you to believe Nolan Arenado's not going to be a Yankee?
Things change. I don't know. I just can't see them not doing anything. But then again, I would have said that in 2023 in left field.
Yeah.
So
The Cardinals wanted all. They thought they were going to get most or like close to all of that Arenado money off. I don't think they're anywhere close to saying, "Oh, well, we'll eat half of it" or something. I don't think they're even in that realm. They would rather just keep him for the name and keep the tickets coming in.
Yeah,
I think than doing that. So I don't know. They can do it another time.
Man.
It's a rough time to be a fan of a lot of fan bases, actually. Right now,
yeah.
I think
the Minnesota Twins have not made a major league signing in 2 years.
Yeah. There's a number of fans. The Padres are going through a tough time after a great season. If you're ever a Rockies fan, that's just a sad thing.
Yeah.
A Marlins fan, if they are out there, Angels fans.
And they're the A's and the Giants spending money.
The one A's fan is going to have a good time.
Exactly. Exactly. We got some responses to a Twitter question about what people would like to hear discussed on this podcast. One response was the depression of losing Tommy Kahnle, Gleyber Torres, and Clay Holmes. I think we've addressed that. I got to be honest, Tommy Kahnle, fun guy to root for, nice to have on the team. I am far less banged up about losing Tommy Kahnle than about the other two, who were my two favorite players on the team, which is,
I like Canely. I think he's.
Yeah.
I mean, people seem to love him. His Twitch streams, he talked about how much he loved being a Yankee and all this stuff. I mean, he seems like a really good clubhouse guy.
Sure.
I love being able to talk about the fact that he throws like 85% changeups. That's always fun. But there's also a part of it where I was sweating watching him throw 85% changeups, and I thought this is net. There's going to be a turning point here. His fastball velocity was going down every year, and at some point, it's just not going to work anymore.
Remember when a certain Twitter personality named after a baked Italian pasta dish suggested that Luke Weaver and Tommy Canely were both changeup specialists, even though Tommy Canely threw his changeup 50 percentage points more often?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in the reliever area, I'm very glad that the Yankees got Devin Williams. I mean, it makes me miss
that's cool.
Tommy
You want to
Canely
talk about a
lot.
changeup specialist?
Yeah.
That's not even,
well,
that's not even a changeup.
It's not
That's
really,
a whole different thing, yeah.
Like, I think you said this, Steve, like the Luke Weaver, pitchforks were going to come out if he started the year as the closer.
Yeah.
Just because he wouldn't be perfect.
Oh, we didn't even have Devin Williams the last time we talked, did we?
That's true.
That's new. Yeah, right. Okay.
And I just think it fits so well that, like, you trust the Yankees with the rest of it, as we've said for years. And I mean, maybe whatever happens with Tim Hill, I would like him to come back, but I'm just never going to get that upset about a bullpen loss. I mean, I'm not even as upset about Clay Holmes as you are, I think, because of that.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
Well, you're not even going to get a chance to be proven wrong because he's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
I don't like I wouldn't have signed Clay Holmes to that contract, to be honest.
No,
I
wouldn't
contract
either.
if they want to have him be a reliever. I just don't get where that's coming from. Again, why didn't the Mets sign like another big name starter?
I don't know.
Or they could have signed Luis
Stearns.
Severino. Like
Yeah. I guess they brought back Manaea, but like,
it
should have been in on Fried. I guess
even Cohen's like penny pinching now with Alonso. That whole interview talking about how he didn't like the way the negotiation. I mean, that's what's so funny is that we were all talking before Soto signed was, would Steve Cohen actually do this? Would he just open the pocketbooks and be that spender everyone says? And we're all like, well, he's never done it. And then he kind of did do it for Soto,
but only for one guy.
Only for one guy, and now he's right back to being that more frugal thing where he's not really spending that much. So
Starling Marte is still going to be starting for that team.
Yeah.
And they don't have a first baseman. Predict how many home runs Everson Pereira will hit during spring training.
Spring training.
Oh, he's going off in spring training.
He's got it, right? Like, is this the most obvious spring training just mashing of all time?
I don't know how many, but
I don't know what the record for home runs in spring training is, but that plus one, I think.
Didn't Higashioka that one spring have?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
so many.
Yeah, it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. We were asked what the hell the Yankees are waiting for to release the promotional schedule.
I was
That's
wondering
the hard
that
hitting.
Too. No, I'm actually right
But do
there.
you guys actually care about that?
Like, kind
Whipple
of.
does.
I don't know. I just saw other teams do it. Like I said, Nationals. I was like, where are we? What's going on?
Yeah,
maybe, maybe they're preparing the Alex Bregman bobblehead night. Right?
I was going to plan my summer around Ian Hamilton travel coffee mug day, and I'm really struggling.
Here's the question: do they have Soto stuff like that they had from last year? And they're
definitely. I bet you they do.
I bet
you they do. Yeah.
Other teams like give it. You've heard of that, like where they'll give away. I think it was like Corey Kluber, like he got traded, but we're giving away his like.
Yeah, but that's within the season.
Yeah, he got injured.
Is that within the season? Okay.
Yeah. But I bet you they have Soto stuff lying around. I have no doubt. They must. They were prepared to keep that dude. They thought they were going to have him forever.
We were asked to name a Dominican Summer League breakout prospect. Could either of you name off the top of your head a Dominican Summer League Yankee?
No, I was reading Ryan Garcia's little list of prospects, and I was looking at some of the DSL guys, but I no, not off the top of my head.
I found out that there's a guy named Dexter's Peralta. Dexter's with an S, Peralta, which is how I would pluralize Dexter Peralta.
How would you pluralize?
Yeah, how would you pluralize it now?
It's like
Dexter's.
fish.
Dexter's is
or deer. It's just Dexter's. It's already correct.
Yeah, all right. That's fair. Yeah.
He was 16 this year and hit 219, 320, 325. But he's a shortstop, and I've decided that because of his name, he's my breakout prospect. We were asked for some Jason Dominguez propaganda. Here's all the Jason Dominguez propaganda you need. Have you ever heard of Jackson Holiday? You've heard of that guy?
Somebody was laughing
Son of
about
Matt.
about how he's so much younger than Dominguez or something. They're literally the same age.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. Jason Dominguez, born February 7th, 2003. So we're recording this just a few days shy of his 22nd birthday. Jackson Holiday, born December 4th, 2003. Just like 10 months later.
Yep.
Like this is... And Jackson Holiday, by the way, in 208 Major League plate appearances, hit 189, 255, 311.
Yeah.
Like
Worst batted ball data in the minors too. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, it's very, very silly.
Jason Dominguez, I think I don't want to overhype it. Yeah, I kind of like where we're at right now with people saying, oh, this is, who knows with Jason, he's been a prospect forever, blah, blah, blah. That's actually right where I like the talk about Jason Dominguez, because then he gets to go out there and just hit. And there's not as much pressure thinking he's going to be the next Mickey Mantle or something.
Yeah.
And I think everything is there for him under the hood for him to be a very good hitter. I don't know if he'll be good in left field or wherever they put him, but he should be a good bat.
Can you imagine? I know he's walked like almost 15% of the time in his major league career. If Jason Dominguez is a 10% walk rate guy, with the way he hits the ball, like he's the leadoff hitter. Absolutely, right? Like without question.
The projections on paper, if you just took those at face value, which you can't do because he doesn't have the data, but if you did, lead him off. I would lead him off. If you're not leading Judge off, then you lead off Dominguez.
I will point you to my Jason Dominguez Somerset Patriots pennant displayed in the background.
Knowing what you know now and believing what you believe now, who would be your leadoff hitter?
I mean, who I think will be, or who would I put there?
Supposing you can't say Aaron Judge because we know they're not going to lead him off. Of the other 8 presumed offensive starters, who would you?
I'm inclined to go with Jason, but that just seems like way too much to throw on him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like an Austin Wells up there.
I really like leadoff Wells.
I mean,
I really like it.
I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It doesn't make a lot of sense in some ways, but you look at the discipline and the damage that he can do. Yeah. It makes sense to give him a larger number of at bats if he's keeping up with that. But I don't want Cody up there. Certainly don't want Jazz leading off. I don't think that makes any sense. He doesn't get on base. The same way.
But none of them get on base. That's the problem. They have a bunch of guys who don't get on base, and then Aaron Judge.
Well, okay,
like,
Peter Brand.
What Jazz terrible. That's
why Jason needs to do it. Jason needs to be the guy.
I want to see Jazz, and if it's bad, move on. We just need to see. He's got the speed. I'm interested.
Wow.
I don't care about speed. I don't care about leadoff speed at all. It just doesn't mean anything to me.
But he's also a good hitter. I don't know. I mean, it can't be Anthony Volpe.
No. Can anyone think of a infielder on the Tigers who would help with this?
Veerling?
I wasn't talking about Notre Dame's Matt Veerling, but he would also help.
You're not talking about Javier Baez, right?
I would love.
I think you were talking about Javier Baez.
The things I would give for Javier Baez to be good again and be a Yankee.
Whew. I didn't mean to reopen.
I mean,
move on from that.
Second half 2021 Javier Baez, it's that the meme of like Vince McMahon crying and it's like, Dad, tell me about second half 2021 Javier Baez. That's how I feel. Oh man. We really are in the worst part of the offseason, aren't we?
Yeah. If you say Javier Baez one more time, I know we've gone too far.
Is that who you were talking about?
No, I was talking about Gleyber Torres.
Oh, geez, I've already like tried to block it out of my head that he's there.
Yeah,
I don't want him to be there.
It's also, I'm not like a Jersey guy, not the state of New Jersey, but like the garment. I really wanted Gleyber Torres to go to a place with a cool like City Connect jersey, and then I could have a Gleyber Torres jersey that's like only very loosely affiliated with some other baseball team because like they never wear it. It's not super recognizable as being associated with it. It's like the terrible like blue and black, and Motor it has like City, a tire mark, and it says Motor City.
Motor City, yeah,
so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah,
a listener question from me, a listener to myself. Speaking of jerseys, so as you may know, maybe, well, you know, Steve, that I'm a big Garrett Cole fan. And
yeah.
Wait,
I
Whipple,
want-
you're a big Garrett Cole fan?
Likewise.
shockingly,
This
so
is
I
news.
have a Garrett Cole jersey. I've wanted to get another one for a while. I was definitely going to get a Soto jersey if he re-signed. I was used to think about getting a Stanton jersey, and I'm just not going to do that. I think I had a brief should I get a Volpe jersey moment last year. Probably not going to do that. If you were me, and I don't, like, for context, I'm not getting an Aaron Judge jersey. I'm not a front runner. Like, I've never gotten the like Jeter, A-Rod, Judge jersey. Who do you think is a good investment currently for like a long-term jersey purchase?
Who's
Austin
the value
Wells.
play? Yeah.
Austin
Wells
Wells.
is value. I'm intrigued by Dominguez. I was thinking Wells.
Yeah.
I want to give it a little time to see about Dominguez. Maybe Max Fried is the other one I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. Max
I don't
Fried would be a
hate
good
that.
one. Yeah.
The
So,
risk
I don't know if I want
with
two pitchers.
the risk
I
with
like Max Fried.
Dominguez that Wells has already mitigated is that he changes his number. I
Wait,
think
what's
we're
his number
still
now?
in Jason Dominguez switches away from 89 territory.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh,
would wait.
yeah,
I feel like if
yeah,
he breaks
yeah.
camp, he's gonna get something else.
And he can't.
I feel like Wells is pretty safe though. I might.
And
Wells is safe
Wells
now
or-
that he's moved
Wells
to
or
28.
Fried. Yeah,
But-
I
Yeah.
think, and Wells is going to be around. He's going to
Yeah.
get run. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
guy for the
And I
foreseeable
think he's
future.
good.
I think he's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and clearly, like, they're not trading Wells.
No.
They're-
No.
That would actually be more shocking than like pretty much anyone else, like non-Judge Cole. I feel like.
Now
You
his
could-
his development is one of the biggest in turning the bat first catcher into a glove first. Not glove
Yeah.
first, but glove equal to the bat catcher. What they were able to do with him is
I mean, all the prospect
Success.
evaluations that said he had no chance of sticking at catcher
Yeah,
at the
and
major
not-
league level, and now
and
he's
not
one of the
only-
best defensive
yeah.
catchers. Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
one of the best framers.
Incredible. One of the best framers,
It
Alexander
also got us
Hamilton
Fernando
style.
Cruz, basically because we could
James
trade
Madison
Trevino.
style.
Hey, I said they were gonna do that, and somebody said I was wrong. So
I did say
I think
you're
I
wrong.
think I also was. I didn't think they
Yeah.
would trade Trevino. Yeah, I was surprised they did it, but good for them. I'm glad they did. They
Yeah.
got a good arm out of it. Years of control over a 34-year-old, but
I'm like
he's good.
1% surprised they didn't sign Kyle Higashioka.
no, didn't he get money? He got money.
Yeah,
He kinda got paid.
years.
Yeah,
I think they love the backup homegrown catcher, so maybe like let
Escara?
Rafael Flores eventually.
Escara's not even really a catcher though.
I guess
like
not.
he just started catching. So
I hope it's Ben Rice. Like
I love
understand
Ben Rice.
They probably don't want to have two left-handed catchers,
Yeah.
but like that might be the way to get Ben Rice like on the team,
Yeah,
maybe.
which I value.
I wish there was a Paul Goldschmidt version of a third baseman, so our guy we're playing instead of DJ would be Ben Rice at first base. That would be such a better outcome than having to look at Waldo and DJ.
Yeah.
If there was just whatever the Paul Goldschmidt version of third base is, throw him over there.
Is there any world where Goldschmidt and Rice get platooned? Like, is there anything Goldschmidt
yeah.
could do to make that happen?
I think
Suck
they're gonna like
against righties.
yeah, but I feel like if whoever the backup first baseman is, they'll get some play. Like I feel like
I
we're
worry
gonna
that the
go-
backup first baseman is Oswaldo Cabrera.
It might
what's
not
the
be
bet
Ben
on
Rice. Ben Rice they might want him to play in the minors. I don't know.
I think that's probably likely.
Yeah.
So the bench
Which
is
sucks.
Grisham, the other whoever does at this point, whoever is not at third between
Peraza either needs to be gone or he's on the team, right? There's no
Peraza's
other option.
gone,
Yeah.
right? Like
I
So
don't
it's
think
like-
they just want to get rid of him. And he still had he wasn't. I don't know. Peraza's value is a really weird thing.
I think
Is
it's
he-
Grisham, DJ, Peraza, catcher.
but then and somebody else comes in for another infield spot.
What do you mean?
Or you're saying Peraza. You're
I
saying
think that's the
Cabrera,
bench is Grisham, DJ, Peraza, catcher.
Okay.
Is
I
Oswald
think they picked
Peraza
someone.
being kind of slept on a little bit? Is there even a chance of that?
I think he's bad.
Why do
Yeah.
we think he's so bad?
Why do we think he's so bad? What do you mean?
I haven't looked at his batted ball data in the minor leagues. I don't know what he's even been doing down there.
So he was a below average hitter in AAA last year.
Still strong walk rate.
Strong walk rate, but like
Still has pop, steals bases, good defender, right?
I don't know how much pop he really has
He had
because
13,
we know
13 home runs,
we
but
know
I'm
the
not seeing
AAA
data,
ball.
though.
We know the AAA ball is juiced, and it's just like
I feel like there's still you'd think the man like completely bottomed out. It was no longer producing in any form anymore. He was totally like okay in the minor leagues last year. He was not bad.
yeah, no, that's true.
I think Yankees got to switch George Lombard to third base in the near future.
Is George Lombard going to be enough of a hitter that he can play third base
He's
instead of
up the
shortstop?
Maybe, but
people
he's
love his bat. Apparently, I mean his exit velocities and all that.
Didn't he slug like 340?
Yeah, but apparently he's hitting the ball extremely hard.
Yeah, and I guess he's still a small child.
he's very
Oswald
young.
Peraza had a 300 xWOBA in AAA last year.
Okay, well, that's a little more disappointing.
Yeah.
At least Alex Verdugo's not going to be on the team.
Like, that's worth having a party.
Thank God. We get the slightly better version who pulls balls in the air with Cody Bellinger.
Is there a chance that Alex Verdugo doesn't end up on any team?
No, somebody else. If Dylan Carlson, remember we talked about Dylan Carlson?
Yeah,
and I
was
don't
worried.
even know if he will even get a major league deal. He got like barely a major league deal, right?
He got
like
like the least major of all major league deals.
It was the lowest point. So if he got a major league deal, I have to think somebody will give Verdugo something.
Yeah, I
Anthony
suppose
Rizzo going to end up on a team? Like, is he done?
He might have to retire.
Someone will non-roster invite him, right?
He could play in the minors next year if he wanted to, but would he want
Joey
to do that?
Votto style?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to do it.
It really sucks for him.
He was like having a renaissance year and then got concussed. And
really was. It wasn't even a renaissance year. Like, he had a good 22.
That's true.
I mean, he was just Anthony Rizzo until...
He was, yeah. Yeah, it's really a sad story for him.
Yep.
I like Rizzo, Yeah. It just didn't work out.
This is why head injuries are bad.
Yeah. Clint Frazier.
I loved Clint Frazier.
So did I, man. When I see highlights, just his hands, man, the legendary bat speed, right?
Red Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wonder what he's doing.
I think he's playing a lot of pickleball, is how it looks from social
media.
Is
he still trying to play baseball? Or
I don't think so.
No, he's done?
No, I think he's done.
That's sad.
That is sad. I was a big Clint Frazier fan.
Yeah, likewise.
He got a shout out on a Hoodie Allen song.
Did he?
Yeah. It was
I'm gonna look him up.
the Hoodie Allen album, The Hype, which came out in 2017. Clint Frazier got a shout out on the song Play the Field.
Man, he's 30 now.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
that just reminds me how soon I'm going to be 30.
Oh, stop. It's fine.
Is it, Steve? Is it?
So it's so good, guys. It's so great.
30? I don't believe you.
It's so good.
You're
every year after. Me?
No, Will.
Oh.
Yeah, but that means I only have one more birthday until it's 30.
Well, I'm obliged to tell you that Clint Frazier, at 29 years old last year, did play in independent ball in Charleston.
How about that?
Yeah,
he played River Dogs?
Independent ball. So I don't know what.
Not like, are the River Dogs like independent now?
The Charleston Dirty Bird. Charleston Dirty Birds.
Oh, okay.
Now.
They got kicked out of. Yeah, I think they got kicked out of like the Trenton Thunder did too.
That reshuffling thing they did. Yeah.
He
was all right. I mean,
Was
it's independent ball, so being all right, it's not quite good enough. But
wait, so we've gone on for far too long, but now that we're talking about independent ball, I need to make you guys aware of something.
Oh, they're not the River Dogs, in case anyone cared.
Who is if you were playing Immaculate Grid and there was a Twins Orioles spot, who would you obviously put there?
Delman Young.
Wrong.
Whoa. That's fun. Twins Orioles.
Wasn't he an Oriole? Or no?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Who's a good twin? Honestly, I don't have anybody coming like immediately to mind.
Oh my gosh, guys. It's so obvious.
Okay, well don't it's gonna bother me now.
Twins Orioles.
I have no one coming to my brain.
I don't know why.
Yeah, Delman Young's a solid one. I kind of forgot he played for the Orioles.
Lou Ford.
Oh God.
Of course you would pick Lou Ford.
Yeah. Okay.
Lou Ford. Here's
dumb.
here's how independent ball is. Lou Ford played for the Long Island Ducks at age 46 in 2023. He got 108 plate appearances, and he slashed 340, 389, 460 for an 849 OPS at age 46 for the Long Island Ducks. So I don't know what Clint Frazier's stats were
Not
the
that.
Charleston Dirty Birds, but that's the standard that Lou Ford has set. Also, some incredible names played for that team with Lou Ford. Chance Sisco, Adeiny Echeverria, former Yankee, Brian Goodwin, Sue Wei Lin, Daniel Murphy, Ruben Tejada, who I didn't know he even went on Long Island anymore.
What year was this?
2023.
Okay. Wow.
Boog Powell the Younger.
Oh, yeah.
Alejandro Deazo, Wilson Ramos, kidnapping survivor.
True.
Just some absolutely incredible names. Kevin Quackenbush, Stephen Tarpley, Jimmy Yacobonis. So
now we got some old Orioles in there.
Yeah.
Cisco, Yacobonis.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
what they ever just sit around. They're like, wow, we're like a bunch of like journeymen. Like,
you ever think they sit around and talk about Nolan Reimold?
Wasn't that the Judge comp?
Yes.
Nolan Reimold.
Oh,
right?
that's iconic. That's
Nolan
so
Reimold's
good.
2009. Never forget.
All right, Whipple, parting shots, go.
Oh, okay. So I got to do my show and
You
tell.
have to do your show and tell.
I went down to New Orleans. I competed in the Tulane baseball arbitration competition. And this year, we did not hear Ron Washington talk, which is probably for the best. Last year, Steve, Ron Washington talked to a bunch of lawyers and basically just was doing the most like, vibes and grit and everything that I know about baseball is the only way to play. And then someone asked him like what he thought about arbitration. He's like, oh, I don't even participate in that. Like, I think it's stupid. So I thought that was
awesome.
funny. This year we just went down. We represented Jarren Duran, and I was on the player side for Jarren Duran. So I put together a nice little book about Jarren Duran. Let's see why Jarren Duran's a good player.
Oh no.
Oh, the arbitrary arbitration stuff.
He's a
really respectful. Do you have on there?
He's a MVP caliber platform year, and he was consistently improving.
Do you have tolerant?
Only the team side, I could not say that. Unfortunately, I was not allowed to talk about that because it was my client I was representing. So
okay.
I had a lot of cool graphs showing his consistent improvement.
Yep.
Did they bring up the utterance?
They did, but the people I was going against didn't say it in like a way that was compelling, and I was just like, "We're here to talk about the stats." But I compare, you have to do comparables, so I'll show you the player comparisons. We got Randy Rosarena, Cedric Mullins, and Willie Adames. So I was trying to show his 5-tool playerness, and I won't go into the whole thing, but it's a pretty cool competition. If you're interested, I'd encourage you to watch the videos online.
Did you win?
No, we didn't win, unfortunately. We didn't even win the writing thing like we did last year. So last year, I guess it was better when we were representing Adolis Garcia. It makes sense. I mean, Adolis Garcia, generally a more fun, better player to represent than Jarren Duran. But I was told that I had to show you on the podcast when I told my teammates that you were a big Jarren Duran hater. So I've shown you on the podcast. And, it pained me, but it's a good example in representing clients you don't agree with. So I've learned a lot as a lawyer, and suffice to say, I would have taken the opposite side if I had my druthers.
Proud of you, Steve. Any parting shots from you?
No, I want spring. I really want spring. I think this is going to be an exciting season. The Yankees are a good team. Also, who else is a good team is the Red Sox are kind of a good team. Maybe underratedly. I mean, in terms of how bad the AL is, I don't think the Red Sox are a bad team. I think it will be an interesting Yankees Red Sox year would be my forecast, and I think that could be exciting. You're making a face like you don't agree with me there, Wilson.
Yeah, I
don't. They projected just a few wins behind the Yankees. I mean, it's within a variance enough that they would be right there.
Fangraphs depth charts has them at 42.5 and the Yankees at 49.5.
Is that right? Yeah, I thought it'd be a little closer than that. I still think I think their pitching is very legit, and I think that's going to.
I think some of their pitching is very legit, but like Tanner Houck just threw 178 and 2/3 innings after never throwing more than 106. Like, is he going to do that again?
The upside of the stuff that they have on their team
of the stuff is very good. Yeah,
and upside of a lot of they're graduating some of the top prospects in the game next year also. So
absolutely.
I think there is that shot that they could be a very young upstart good team next year. And I think that would be interesting. And almost, I don't want them to be good, but Yankees-Red Sox rivalries are fun.
It would be nice for Yankees-Red Sox to have some juice.
As long as the Yankees are better, I think it is fun.
They do have a Aroldis Chapman.
Oh, that's going to be so much.
They should re-sign Nick Pivetta. I think that would be smart for them to do.
He's still sitting out there.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Crochet is let's just see a little more of Garrett Crochet before we say he's one of the top pitchers in baseball.
Crochet is an interesting, because if you're a Stuff Plus nerd and you're digging into everything, Garrett Crochet might be like the best pitcher to you in baseball. Like, he's that level of good. And I have a hard time with that, looking from every angle, because it's like, how many innings will this guy throw? Can we really trust that he's going to throw that many innings? But the stuff is like
undeniable. Yeah.
All I'll say is, since I started betting my cold hard cash against Jacob deGrom's ability to stay on a baseball field and have consistently been rewarded for that bet, I will say, like, I gotta see it. I gotta see the availability, and he hasn't shown that right now. So I'm just saying we need to see it before we anoint him 1A.
That's fair. I thought it was a good move for I didn't think it would be a good move for the Yankees. Smart. I didn't think the Yankees were the right guy for Crochet, just because they didn't have the trade capital to do it. But the Red Sox I thought it was a great move for him.
Paul Skeens, best pitcher in baseball?
Could be.
Probably, which is crazy. I would say,
It's nuts. Just think, he was almost in the Air Force. He almost made it into our game.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, and he has like the personality of a wet napkin, though, man. That guy, for being such a star, like, I saw him on Kimmel or something, I think he was on. It is like the least interesting human being to ever listen to talk.
He was on College Game Day. He did the same thing. Like, he is phenomenally uninteresting.
Yeah.
But
Aaron Judge, best hitter in
Splinker. Yes, Aaron Judge.
Oh, yeah. That's a given.
Gotta remind everyone.
That's far less in question. All right, it's time for us to wrap up. Look, I enjoyed being back with the boys, recording some podcasts. We'll do this again soon, to be sure.
How long till spring?
Depends. Do you believe Punxsutawney Phil or Staten Island Chuck?
Well, not till the season of spring, but pitchers, catchers / first spring training game. I'm not even.
We're like
that back 6 weeks.
We're first spring training games are like 2 weeks away.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's the 21st.
Oh, so I guess between 2 and 3 weeks.
2 weeks away. I think pitchers, catchers report in like a couple weeks. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then
the games are shortly after.
Yeah.
Gosh, we're so close to seeing Everson Pereira play baseball.
Don't you mean watching Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt play baseball? That's what I'm the most excited about.
That's not what I meant.
The 2025 Yankees.
We're going to wrap up there. So people know they can find everything we do at yankeesfiles.com. We got to start writing some more stuff. I know, Steve, you're working on some stuff. I have some drafts.
I'm always working
in the
on
hopper
things that I never finish. Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter where we're at Yankees Files. Podcasts go up wherever you get your podcasts. We hope that you'll rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff if you like it. We hope if you don't like it, you don't leave any negative feedback and you just download it and listen to it a million times. You can do it on silent too. It still boosts the count. Anyway, you can get videos if you listen on Spotify or if you watch on YouTube, where you can find us at the Crosstown Sports YouTube channel. We will be back sometime in the future, probably around when pitchers and catchers report, to recap whatever has gone on, and hopefully there's something in that span. And until then, let's go Yankees.